and this is done by compiler. So now let us take one more example. That suppose there is one instruction which is performing R0 plus R1 is stored in R0 and it is taking 2 cycles, suppose. Second instruction, R1, R5 result, that means value of R5 is shifted into R1. Third is from some location of memory, that memory alpha value is loaded into R2. Some other location, from some other location, beta value is loaded into R3. Now we are multiplying R2 and R3 and are storing back in R2. And multiply is a bigger operation, that is why it is taking 3 cycles. Load operations are taking 2 cycles. Add is also taking 2 cycles. Move is taking, because move is very simple operation, it is taking 1 cycle. This is our assumption. So this is the program code. Add R01, which is taking 2 cycles, move R15, 1 cycle, load R2 M alpha, 2 cycles, load R3 M beta, 2 cycles, multiply R2, R3 in 3 cycles. Okay. This is the program code which we want to perform in pipelining. And then how we can avoid the hazard with the help of scheduling. So you see here, I1 is loaded in first cycle, decoded, fetch, execute. 2 cycles we are seeing. See, in previous example which I have drawn here also, we are assuming a simple case in which load is taking 1 operation, decode, fetch, execute, write, all are taking 1 cycles. Practically there may be 2-3 cycles also. So here we are assuming that add is taking 2 cycles, that means 2 execute stages are there. And then write. Then I2, it is taking 1 cycle. So load, decode, fetch, execute, write. Clear? This one is clear or not? Then third, I3, again it is taking 2 cycles. Load, decode, fetch, execute, write. Then again I4, load, decode, fetch, execute, write. Now you see that I5 multiply R2, R3 and put it into R2. And for that R3, what value of R3 should come here? This value or not? This value of R3 which is coming in I4 instruction should come here. Okay? That we want. Okay? So for ensuring that, what we have to do? That this value is correctly written into the register, then only it is possible for I5 to take the correct value of R3. And therefore, for I5, we are giving it intentional time delay like this. Load, okay, no problem. Instruction is loaded, decoded, no problem. But while taking or fetching data, it has to wait for 3 cycles. And when write operation of previous I4 is complete, then only it is fetching. Clear or not? In pipeline, when I4 is written, result of I4 is written in R3, then only I5 should fetch that result, otherwise it will fetch wrong result. Suppose you give this fetch here, it will definitely read some incorrect value. This thing is clear. Fetch should come after write of I4. Fetch of I5 should come after write of I4. Because I4, from I4, R3 is new value of R3 should come in I5. And therefore when it is written R3 is written, then only I5 should read R3. And therefore you are giving 3 intentional time delays. And therefore now time diagram is like this. Total if you count, it will come out 14 cycles. That means in 14 cycles these 5 instructions are completely executed with pipeline. This is clear. And in that we have given 3 intentional time delays. But I was talking about the static scheduling, in which reordering of statements is done. and I will show you that by reordering it is possible to perform only 11 cycles, the same code. So it is like this. After reordering, see, load M R2 M alpha, this is a very much independent type of statement, and that can be performed in beginning also. No dependency, nothing like that. So this is performed in beginning like this. Then I4, this is also performed in beginning, and now I1 is performed, and then I2 is performed, then multiply operation is performed. Now it is ensured that by the time I5 is reading R3, it is definitely ready here, ready in this time, because after that these two instructions are also performed. So now it is clearly that means safe to take this value. So this is by reordering. So now I3 load, decode, fetch, execute, write. I4 again fetch, execute, write. I1 add, again 2 cycles load, decode, fetch, execute, write. Add, that means I2 move operation, 1 cycle, load, decode, fetch, execute, write, and then multiply without giving those 3 intentional time delays. We are performing load, decode, fetch, execute, write. So total it is 11 cycles. So this is how with static scheduling we are overcoming this delay problem. That means without providing that intentional time delay, we have avoided and we have reduced the cycle. This is also called cycle stealing. Cycle stealing, S-T-E-A-L-I-N-G, cycle stealing. So we saw static scheduling. Another one is dynamic scheduling, and this is achieved by hardware. Just opposite. Static scheduling is achieved by software and dynamic scheduling is achieved by hardware. You may think that static scheduling should be achieved by hardware. No. Dynamic scheduling is achieved by hardware, and there are 2 methods to achieve dynamic scheduling. One is called Tomasello algorithm and another is scoreboarding. So in Tomasello algorithm, WAR, that means write after read and write after write hazards are avoided, and this is very much implemented in IBM 36091 computer. See, these are not new techniques. I am not teaching you the new research. This is the older research, but development in parallel computing is very slow, and IBM 36091 is a milestone computer. It is written in the book of Kaiwang and Wicks, and this is taken as a learning example everywhere. So IBM 36091 that used this Tomasello algorithm, which was given in the year 1967. Tomasello had given this algorithm, and this is what it provides dynamic scheduling. And in this Tomasello algorithm, register renaming is done. I will tell you what is register renaming. And scoreboarding is the second technique for achieving dynamic scheduling, and with the help of scoreboarding, RAW, that means read after write, hazard is avoided, and this is implemented in CDC 6600 computer. That means I am giving you the real computer also where it is implemented. This is the name of one computer. So this is Tomasello algorithm. It is like this. Some extra registers are put on processor according to register file or whatever registers are present on a processor. So few extra registers which are redundant are also added. So this is the instruction set. According to instruction set, in your processor these are the registers R1, R2, R3, 4, 5. According to instruction set, you know instruction set, I think, in computer architecture you have studied. So these are the possible instructions and these are the necessary registers. But actually on processor, hardware 6, 7, 8 are the new extra redundant registers. Okay, few extra registers are also added which are not much needed. Now what is done, that R1 is mapped to hardware. See, R1 is mapped to hardware 1, R2 is mapped to hardware 2, 3, 4, 5. So R1 is mapped to hardware 1 and here 6 also. This is called register renaming logic, and R1 is mapped to hardware 6. So I am giving you the example. Add R4, R5, R1 and subtract R1, R2, R3. That means R5 plus R1 is stored in R4. Okay, and subtract R2 plus R3, R2 minus R3 into R1. What will happen? This is called write after read hazard. That means R1 is read first and then it is written. Write after read. Read first and then is written. So what will happen? Suppose this statement I2 is very fast. Then this value of R1 will come here in I1. Okay. Suppose this I1 is slow and then I2 is fast. Then this is complete earlier. This is completed earlier. So R1 is ready now of R2 minus R3 value, and this value of R1 will be taken here in I1 statement. So this will become a hazard, wrong result. This is called write after read hazard. But after renaming, register renaming, what we will do, that we will make like this. Add R4, R5, R1, okay, and subtract hardware 6, R2, R3, hardware 6. That means result of R2 minus R3 is not written into R1, rather it is written into hardware 6 here, which is extra register provided in the processor, and that is called hardware algorithm or Tomsillo algorithm. Now there is no chance of clash. Earlier chance was that this value of R1 will come here, but now this is entirely different register, so no chance of going this value here, and this is how this hazard is also avoided. Okay, this is clear. This is called register renaming. These are the concepts I think that you will hardly find anywhere. That means although it might be available in books, but generally in syllabus or everywhere you do not, or people used to skip or not covered in syllabus or not even put in syllabus. Register renaming, Tomsillo algorithm, generally these are not given in the syllabus also. So you people will not be able to read. And I have earlier given you the importance of parallel computing. In future, scope in parallel is very bright, because Government of India is also serious. That is why I am telling all this. So this is how you can avoid this right after read hazard by register renaming. And Smith in 89 has shown by simulation that register renaming increases the speed up. That means improves the performance. This is proved. Although logically it is shown here, but this speeds up the result. It gives more speed up. That means speed gets increased. So this is clear. Tomsillo algorithm. Hardware. This is hardware algorithm in which few extra registers are provided in form of hardware 6, 7, 8, and here there was slash R1. So here it is renamed as hardware 6, and hardware 6 is used instead of R1 for writing, and this is how this is avoided. Slash is avoided. Clear? This is also given in page 51 italics. Smith 89 has shown by simulation that register renaming increases speed up. Now, scoreboarding, another hardware algorithm. Consider the example of RAW hazard. Add R1, R2, R3 and subtract R4, R5, R1. That means, suppose this I1 is slow, so this R1 is not ready, and therefore here some wrong result may be taken. This is not ready, and this is in pipeline, so this may take some wrong value. And therefore, to avoid this, as I told that Tomsillo algorithm and scoreboarding both are hardware algorithm. That means some extra hardware is provided. So a special hardware called Trajan's bit is provided, which tells the instruction I2, that work of writing R1 in the instruction I1 is not complete. That means some extra. These are the registers which are already present. One presence bit is added in the beginning, and that will tell whether that writing operation is complete or not. If this is not complete, for example, suppose in some ticket counter you go and he is busy, then automatically you wait. And even if you give your work to him, he will say that, wait, I am busy. Similarly, here also, this extra bit, which is called presence bit, which is provided in the beginning of each register, that bit will tell that this instruction, this work is going on, register R1 is being written, and please wait, and therefore presence bit is a special hardware which is added in the start of each register of register file. This technique is known as scoreboarding. Register file is a set of all GPRs, general purpose registers, program counter, status register, etc. Therefore, a computer with 32 registers will have 32-bit scoreboard to indicate busy free status of registers. Suppose, according to register file, there are 32 such registers. In each register, one extra flip-flop or certain hardware is added to show the status of that particular register, that whether that particular register is being written or it is having final value. So, therefore, if there are 32 registers, then how many extra bits are added? 32. Because in the beginning of each register, one bit is added. So, this is called 32-bit scoreboard to indicate busy free status of register. Presence bit is set to 1. This will set to 1 if the corresponding register is in use. If this is being used, then here it will be there will be a value of 1, and till that time instruction wanting to read that instruction will be stalled. When write on that instruction is complete, then presence will be set to 0, and now the instruction wanting to read that register can read the register. Clear? That means till the time it is not completely written, presence bit will hold 1, and 1 means don't read at present. And when it is containing 0, then that means this register is holding the final value and it is now ready for being read. Clear? So this is how, with the help of this scoreboarding, we can avoid this hazard. Clear? So earlier we have seen how to avoid hazard by giving intentional time delay, then by Thomson algorithm, and then by scoreboarding. Clear?